20th to order. First line of business, Pledge of Allegiance. Laura.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Approval of minutes for June 18th. Is there a motion?
I make the motion.
Be looking for a second. Frank? Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor? Okay. Thank you. Public input? Nothing? Okay. Thank you. Student representative, we won't have that this evening. Recognitions, that's been postponed until the next agenda. All right. Unfinished business, JICJA cell phone policy. Second reading, third reading to be waived.
Do we want to have Bobby read through it and then we can take a vote?
Did you make a motion to waive the second reading? You would want
What? I'm just,
This would be the second reading.
this would be the second
Oh,
reading and then
Listed
third,
as
yeah.
will be the-
waiving the third.
Yeah.
So then make sure there's a motion for that.
Bobby, if you want to give a report or whatever you'd like, that's fine.
As far as the policy goes, I was...
I have it out if you want me to read it.
Yes, please do,
Sure.
because I just got back in here.
Yeah, I'm sorry I put you on the spot. So the JICJA cell phones, the Athol-Royalston Regional School District seeks to provide students with a school environment that promotes academic focus, student well-being, and joy in our shared experience as learners. To help our schools achieve this environment, the school committee directs that students not have access to personal electronic devices during the school day. The school committee further directs that the superintendent create guidelines for the use of personal electronic devices at other times, including bus transportation and school-sponsored events. And I believe we're looking for a motion to waive the third reading of this policy and then accept the policy as presented. Correct.
I'll make the motion to waive the third reading.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of waiving the third reading? Okay. Yep. And then we can, we'll have a vote on the actual policy of JICJA. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion to vote on the policy.
Okay. Second, Frank? Okay, any discussion on the overall policy? Seeing none. All those in favor? Okay, thank you. Okay, under new business, a vote for competency determination requirements.
I'm going to ask for Principal King to come up and just discuss this a little bit so that the committee has some background information.
Should be in everyone's packet, though, right? As everyone knows, the state had voted to eliminate MCAS as a graduation requirement. Last April, I came here with a revised competency determination memo that got us through this year, but the state has put out more guidelines that take into consideration different aspects of the law and things like that. So we have revised it. Karen Patino and myself have looked through the regulations. We went through our program of studies. We went through our graduation requirements, and that document does reflect us meeting the standard as the state has asked us.
There were a couple of questions. Someone asked for clarification, and so I make it clear to people, these are not the graduation requirements, right? These are competency determination requirements, which are just replacing the MCAS exam. So for the competency determination, it's 2 years and 2 years and 2 years. I don't want people to get confused thinking that a student can graduate the high school with only 2 years of these courses. Competency determination and graduation requirements are two separate things, so.
Is there a motion? Eric, okay. Second? Christie? Discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor? Opposed? Nobody. Okay. Next up, looking for a motion to appoint Bobby Newman as a delegate for the MASC/MASS Annual Conference. Is there a motion? Frank, okay. Laura, second. Discussion. Seeing none, all of those in favor? No, it's all right. Yeah, all right. Unanimous. Thank you, Bobby. Okay, next up, it does state on your agenda a vote for the feasibility study. Unfortunately, there will not be a vote this evening because Matt and myself have been waiting for some additional information from bond counsel and also MSBA officials regarding how we proceed. I believe in full transparency, and I do want to state that we are doing everything in our power to make this feasibility study successful. We are looking towards and are very close to being able to state that we will be able to fund this particular study without going to the taxpayers of Athol-Royalston. That's our hope. That's not in stone, but we're working on the best possible way, and we have some ability to fund the local portion because the MSBA program, especially the feasibility study, is called pay-as-you-go. And pay-as-you-go is that the first section of the feasibility study is actually what that local apportionment would be. In this case, it'd be under 300,000, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But that gets spent first, and then you start submitting receipts to the MSBA, and they start paying it. So there's not a real need, as long as everything goes in the direction we hope. There's not a need to bond a very large borrowing, and then you have to have both towns approve it. That's not, that's not where we're going with this, and we're trying to. We are revising. We are not going in at 1.6 million. We are going in lower because we have received.
100% confident.
Yeah.
But that's the aim.
We're 95% confident that we can go in under 1.6 million and bring that local assessment down even further. So if we can do that and move forward with it, hopefully we can have that information by the next meeting. If there is something that plays into that in a negative way, may have to schedule one agenda special meeting if we need to vote, because I know the town of Athol is looking to have a town meeting October 20th. If we can do what we want to do and get approval from bond counsel, and we don't have to worry about it. But in order to meet a 60-day criteria of notice in between there that the towns have to call a special town meeting, it may be difficult for us to do. So like I said, we're looking to do this, purely under our own power, because the district is a body, is called a political entity under the Mass General laws. So we have the right as a regional school district to bond, to borrow, to appropriate. And normally the two towns would need to approve it. But if we can do it without appropriating and have our own funds, and it doesn't cost either town, we believe, we're leading towards hopefully getting that correct information, that we won't have to do that, and the feasibility study will be borne basically by us and the reimbursement from the MSBA. So that's where we kind of stand right now. So I will let you know more about that when we get to that point and get the appropriate answers. Okay. And then a vote for the district student family handbooks.
So I'm not sure if anyone wants, we have our principals here to discuss any questions or comments, concerns. The handbooks haven't changed dramatically. One thing that we did make sure of is we adjusted the language around cell phones to reflect what the new policy that was just voted in. So that's why we moved that to unfinished business instead of doing it in the policy, because we needed to vote on that policy prior to approving the handbooks, because we would have to hold on these if that didn't go through. But other than that, the handbooks have been relatively the same since last year. The big change is the high school will have the competency determination, which was revised, and then the cell phone usage policies. But,
I will move the elementary school students handbook.
Is there a second? Okay, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the elementary handbook? Okay, everybody. Bobby, if you want to just keep going.
Okay, I will move the middle school student handbook as presented.
Okay,
And I will move the Athol High School student handbook as presented.
is there a second? Emily? All those in favor? Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to ask about discussion, but there hasn't been any, so, okay. Unanimous? All right. So the next item is the new business ADF Wellness Policy Committee discussion.
Actually, while we're looking for that, I apologize. I did want to mention while we were discussing the handbooks, I don't know if anyone noticed my brief aside with our council. The main section of the handbook is also going to be up for approval. There was recently a new Supreme Court decision that just came out regarding opting out of certain programs and instructional units, and that language still has to be updated in accordance with the new regulations. Thank you. So that will probably be on the September agenda.
And we should be able to just have a motion to amend the
amend it.
handbooks with that new language, okay?
Yes. So the Wellness Committee, the purpose of this being on the agenda, we're not looking for a new policy. You have in your packet what the policy states. It's not the entire ADF policy. However, as part of our health and wellness policy, it states we are to have a wellness committee. Right? The Athol-Royalston Regional School District will establish a wellness committee that consists of at least one parent guardian, student, nurse, school food service representative, school committee member, school administrator, member of the public, and other community members as appropriate. I won't continue to read it. It's important to note the constituency of that group because we don't currently have an existing group. It's kind of dissipated as people have retired or stepped off of the school committee. So we do need to reform this wellness committee, and I was looking initially, we will need a school committee representative to be a part of that. So I would hope we could ask for interest for that.
It won't be me, because I'm not a vision of health and wellness, so that's for sure. Okay, thank you. So moving forward to the next item under,
Sorry, should people just maybe contact me
yeah,
if
that's
they're
fine.
interested?
Yep,
Great.
yep.
So just email me if you are interested in being on the
I don't
health
even
and
use the
wellness.
term wellness, so.
That is fine. And note that if I don't receive any emails by Friday, I'll email you all back.
Okay, perfect. Next on the agenda You did have in your packet this evening, I did receive a notice of resignation from Laura Robinson. She is done effective this evening at the conclusion of the regular session. You know, we thank you, Laura, for your service to the district, and understand that, you know, you're moving forward into an employment situation that, you know, you need to step down. But thank you on behalf of the students and the families and everybody for the work you've done. So traditionally what we do, I don't know why we always do this, but we do, I'm looking for a motion to accept that resignation. Eric? Okay. And I presume you make it with regret?
Perfect. We regretfully
Yeah,
accept.
yes. Second, Frank, okay. Any discussion?
Laura, I knew you'd go back. You just love teaching, and I knew you did. And I was thinking, she's still here, she's still here. And, oh, I wish you the best of luck. You're very welcome. The kids are
I'm
gonna,
excited and looking forward to it, so.
the kids are gonna be lucky to have you. Oh, jeez.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
I'm not in favor.
Yeah, I know.
Just abstain then.
Yeah. Are you, okay, Bobby's abstaining. And just so everybody is aware of the procedure and the policy that, well, the procedure that's established in the district, the central office needs to place an ad in the Athol Daily News or a statement. It can be a statement, it can be an ad, but it usually is just a small ad that says we have a school committee from Athol seat available. Any interested parties can submit a letter of interest to the district office, which they'll filter to me, and then I will get them to you, and then we will, hopefully at the September committee, we can, you know, if there's two people, we'll invite them both, and then the committee chooses from that process. So that's what we'll move forward with.
And I believe we're only allowed to accept one resignation per year, so everybody else, don't even think of it, no.
Under communications, of course, there's the district enrollment sheet, per normal. Was there actually a technology report, or they?
It was not.
Okay, all right. We'll save that for September. And again, I previously gave the MSBA update under what was supposed to be the vote for feasibility study, but we have to delay it because we didn't get all the information. So again, you know, as soon as we do, we'll formulate it and pass it along, and if it requires a special meeting for us, we'll do that. But if it goes the way I think it's going to go, we won't require a special meeting. Okay, financial statements and approval of accounts. Nancy?
So tonight, I'm looking for 2 votes from the committee. The first vote is to increase adult lunches. So we're requesting you to vote on increasing the price of adult lunches from $4.50 a meal to $5.28 a meal. It's because the federal reimbursement rate increased. So that's why we're looking for the vote tonight.
Is there a motion?
Second.
Discussion. Seeing none, all those in favor? Okay, thank you. Okay, go ahead, Nancy.
And then the second one I have is regarding the substitute rates. So last March, we brought to you a recommendation to increase the rates for substitutes. And when that vote was taken, it was for just last school year. So we're bringing it back to you again for fiscal year 26 school year. But with that, we're recommending a change. So what I did is I reached out to area school districts, which you will see on page 2, and I got a comparison of their rates against what our rates are. And the one that we're recommending to change is the substitute for having a mass licensure. So last year, we had it at $270 a day, and we're actually recommending that we lower that to $200 a day. We realized that I think we went quite high with that, so we're overshot a bit. Yeah, so we're just adjusting it to be more in line. And I gave you all of the rates for all of our substitutes. I thought it would be good for the committee to see as to the amounts that we charge for each of them, because you probably haven't seen them in a while. And then I also gave you kind of, for each school, to show you that increasing the rates did help. You can see that our substitutes, increased greatly for each school. So it definitely worked by increasing them to get more substitutes. We're still in need, but it helped.
Is there a motion?
I'll move this, for the substitute rate.
Second? Frank? Discussion? Oh, Frank, go ahead.
This isn't like written in stone, this is just like because we had talked about that $5 increase, it's not mandatory, it's a, discretionary $5 increase for the, substitute with a diploma and work 60 days in the district. I just wanna make sure that we have that written in stone somewhere, that it's not a mandatory increase. We talked about that.
That was part of the original.
It's a discretionary $5 increase per year served.
I guess I'm not following discretionary.
So we put in the caveat of if substitutes served more than a certain percentage of the year, the following year, they would get a $5 increase.
Right.
That $5 increase was at the discretion of the superintendent. So
Okay.
we
I
just want to
understand.
make, and it goes up to a total of a potential $20.
Yes.
So we just want, Frank is just making sure that.
I will put that in
it's
here,
still
yes.
It's still discretionary. And maybe as we move to accept this, we can maybe amend, or you can make the motion to just be clear that this is a discretionary $5 increase.
Great.
Go ahead.
Would that be okay?
Yep.
Making sure we add the $5 per year increase as discretionary and up to $20,
Who made the motion originally?
the original.
Who made the original motion?
I'm
Are you okay with that amendment? Okay.
yes, I think that would be okay.
Okay, so what we'll do is we'll vote on the amendment first. All those in favor of Frank's amendment?
Right.
Can I just go ahead?
Discretionary
Sure.
with the
Is it
superintendent.
amendment or a clarification? Because if you previously voted for exactly that, then it's just a clarification, but I just wanted to.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
But it was in an MOA
Okay.
that has expired now.
Thank you.
So this is why we're changing the substitute rate back slightly lower than we had in the MOA, and then we're,
Thank you, I just wanted to make sure.
So are we still okay with the clarification, or we gotta do that, we just
It
do the
would be
amendment?
a motion then.
Okay,
because-
so the amendment that Frank made, okay. All those in favor of Frank's amendment? Okay, opposed, no one? Okay. Now we can go back and vote on the actual submittal. Is there a motion? Frank? Okay. Kirsty, second? Okay. All those in favor? Okay. Thank you. Okay. Reports of the chair this evening, I don't have any, obviously, because we already discussed the resignation and the feasibility study. So, budget and finance, I presume the report was Nancy's. So that's usually the best part of following Nancy, with being the budget chair. Okay, facilities.
You guys already spoke about, the feasibility study and just moving through lists of things, looking to get some grants for HVAC and, some other things to help cover building expenses. And Deidre and the team are doing a really great job.
Academic excellence.
Just reading away. We have not met yet, but we will be soon now that the school year is starting up.
Okay, and public relations.
We haven't met.
Okay. Policy Subcommittee, you submitted the minutes, correct? Those are, okay. Okay. Thank you. All right, already at committee members' referrals. We'll start with Frank.
Is there a way we could have you as the chair go over the MSB again? Because we have some extra people in the audience here that were not here for
Yep.
that. I'd appreciate that.
Yeah, no, that's not a problem. I'll just do that right now. The discussion earlier was that we had anticipated having some available information regarding the process by which we would like to do the feasibility study. There's a couple of versions of a feasibility study. One that if the towns in the district have to appropriate money, it would require going to a town meeting. However, Mass General Law allows a regional school district to bond, borrow, appropriate, et cetera. We are at the point right now where we're pretty certain, I won't use 100%, we're pretty certain that we will be able to fund the portion required for the towns out of our own budget, which would not require a town meeting vote. Again, allowable under Mass General Law, but we need to have the precise language from bond counsel on how to approach that. And then, again, it's a pay-as-you-go process. The first piece that would get expended for a feasibility study would be the local share. Right now, it looks like we're going to downsize the 1.6 million down to what we believe to be about 1.35 million. So it drives that share tentatively down to 270,000 between Athol and Royalston. So the district legally can fund that, and then what would happen is from that point, the reimbursements would be submitted to MSBA, and then they pay as you go, and they reimburse the the allowable charges. So it is a process that's available to us as long as the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. That's how we would like to approach this. And yeah, yep.
Yeah, to clarify, the hope is we've been closing out the 25 school year finances, and we believe we would be able to, whether it's directly from school choice only or a combination of school choice and one of our reserve funds, whether it be E&D or our $500,000 that we're forced to keep in the bank, we would be able to potentially appropriate the entire cost of the feasibility study as a district with the money in our funds already. So we could appropriate the money, and then, as Lee mentioned, the pay-as-you-go would enable us to simply expend the actual cost, which would be nowhere near what we're appropriating. And we're hopeful that that money could come directly out of E&D once E&D is certified. So.
Yep. And we really feel that exercising our right under the Mass General Law to do it this way would simply position us to not have to go to the taxpayers' pockets at this point in time, but still acquire the information that we need to give transparent and educated information to the voters of both towns future as we move forward into the building process. So again, just so everybody understands too, that the feasibility would take about 18 months once we approve it, if everything goes right. 18 months, sometimes things happen, so it could be up to 2 years. And after that, we're not even looking, probably hitting, then go to the voters, debt exclusion and town meeting votes in both towns. Everything goes there and you move forward. We're probably not looking to even hit the tax rate probably for 5 or 6 years after that. So there's a lot of angst, I think, up front with people thinking that this is, we vote the feasibility study today and next Monday we build the school. It doesn't work that way. So there's a lot of processes in between, but this is what we're trying to do. It makes sense for us to get the information to see which way we should go.
And Lee and I have met with town managers and the finance committee, and also in our conversations with Lynn Welsh, who is the financial advisor for both the district and the town, we believe that as we move forward and we start having to pay some debt service, there will be debt service dropping off of Athol's books to begin with, which will help offset whatever the changes are for the actual construction. So that's another piece that we're very hopeful of, is this will get spaced out properly so that debt services continuing to fall off of Athol as the addition from any potential construction gets added on.
Okay. Christie, anything? Emily? Okay, nothing? Bobby? Okay. Eric?
For me,
Okay. All right, so we do have a need to go into executive session under Mass General Law, Chapter 38, Section 21A, reason number 3, to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on bargaining or litigating position of the public body. And this is specifically for a grievance hearing. So what I would like to do is, at this point in time, ask the school committee to go down to the CAF area so that the AOTV folks don't have a late night, and they can pick up their equipment. And then Carrie, can you give us a few minutes, and then I'll come back and get you, and you guys can join us? Okay. All right, so, and we will come back, we won't come back into open session, we'll adjourn from the executive session. Oh, I need a roll call. I need a motion and a roll call vote. Okay. Are you, yeah, roll call vote. Frank, okay, Christie? Emily?
Laura Robinson, aye.
Alicia Vet, aye. And Eric, okay. At this point in time, you're leaving, correct? Okay, all right. All right, so take a quick break, go down to the CAF, and then we'll have a brief discussion.
Beyond the